Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Outer Rim Ramble with myself, the Outlaw Adam Neeson, joined as always by the Jedi Knight Danny Brown. Danny, it's been a real smorgasbord of a day.
It sure has. It sure has. But it's, you know what? I'm looking outside and the weather's getting better. It was real miserable here for like the most of the day. And
Mm.
then now I'm looking out and it's like, actually, it's okay. It's not too bad. What about you? How's your smorgasbordy day been?
It's been a smorgasbord of a day. It is thunder and lightning a wee bit,
Mm.
and more news at 11. Um, Usually, Ross, we go for what we've had for dinner, but we did that before you came on, so you've missed out.
Yeah.
So now it's all about the weather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's it. We're chatting about the weather because that's what all people want to talk about: food, weather, and politics. But we'll not get too invested in
Mm.
politics unless it's Star Wars politics. But yeah, and I also don't want to talk about my dinner today because it was bad. I tried making something new and
Yeah.
it just didn't work out. So I was like, nah, not gonna have. What did you have for dinner, Ross? Have you had your dinner yet?
I haven't had it yet. I've just had a kiwi before coming on this podcast. So
Oh,
I'm riding
Nice,
off the vitamin D and the fructose high as
nice.
it was. I'm getting that energy from the good fruit.
Yeah,
Do you guys get the heat wave which has been happening over the last like couple weeks? It was really hot in London
yeah,
a couple weeks
yeah.
back. You
We
guys get that
did.
as well?
We got a bit of a heat, like for us anyway, it was a heat wave. But we didn't get anywhere near because like what yous were like 30 odd degrees. Here, I think the highest was like 20, 21.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like living in a kiln, trying to go to sleep in the way our houses are built, man. I think it might have been a record heat in
Yeah.
London at least. But no, it's kind of dying down now, which I'm happy with.
Yeah, well that's it. We're back to kind of standard typical Ireland weather right now. You know, it's still
Mm,
it's still kind of warm, but it's wet. It's as wet as it's always
yeah.
going to be here, you know. But no, it's all good. See your kiwi, right? Can I ask you a question? Both of you is actually here's a question, right? Kiwis.
Mm.
Do you ever eat it sometimes? You know when you're just kind of feeling a bit lazy and you just want that quick kiwi hit? Do you just cut the ends off and eat it with the fuzz?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. Somebody else that does it too.
yes.
Excellent.
You know what? I used to always cut. I used to always just cut the top off, get a spoon, and dig it out like I would a boiled egg. And then I realized, did a bit of googling, and I realized you can actually eat the skin. It's edible. It contains fiber.
Mhm.
It just doesn't look very visually appealing to other people if you're eating what looks like a hairy ball. Like
Yeah,
it just
that's
doesn't
it.
look.
It's just
It
like
doesn't look very kosher, does it?
no, that's it's the back end of a tarantula. What? But no, yeah. I
Yeah.
sometimes you just as I say, cut the two ends off and then maybe cut it in half and then bung it straight in. Adam, you look disgusted. Are you? Have you ever tried the kiwi skin?
Yous are both dirty bastards, is what.
Don't knock it till you tried it, man. Don't knock it. Get your fiber, get your
Fiber,
roughage.
man, it's for your health. Come on.
Well, like, can you eat banana skin? Is that a thing?
Oh no, that's too far.
It'd be too
Yeah,
waxy.
you have to have a
Mm.
Mm,
strong stomach for that, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Mm. Although if you shit it out in a full banana. Anyway, we'll believe it. Um, Joining us today on the podcast is an iconic character from episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars. Joining us today is Ross Beadman, aka Sors Bandeam. That I know that's sort of like a what's the word? An algorithm? No,
Is it an anagram?
an
An
Sorry,
anagram.
anagram, yeah,
anagram. Yeah,
yeah.
all the letters fit into each other, which is good, man. It's just a link for me being in the film. I wasn't officially credited, so that's my kind of in aside from like the paperwork and stuff. And
Yeah.
so yeah, back in the day when I told people I was in Star Wars, and they were like, "You weren't in Star Wars," I had to bring up the receipts. The
Yeah.
anagram being the receipts. So no, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. And before, so it was sort of, reading through your Wikipedia entry as you do, and it mentions how just before you'd got the part, you had not long watched the original trilogy. So were you obviously you're very young at the time that you're cast in Revenge of the Sith? Did you kind of understand what Star Wars was at that time and what you were kind of being brought into?
Broadly, yeah. So me and my friends at the time, whenever we do role play, playing in the playground, it will either be one of three things we pretend to be. It would either be Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, or I think Harry Potter maybe on occasion, but we kind of that was like the last option in case we ran out of imaginative ideas. So it's either Lord of the Rings or mainly Star Wars. We pretend to be playing acting as right. So I really liked Attack of the Clones myself before Revenge of the Sith came out. So when I was invited to be a part of it, I didn't really believe it. It seemed too good to be true because of how huge the franchise was. Even back then, that was 2005, and that was. I mean, there's debate whether that was the peak of Star Wars or whether the peak is yet to come, but it was definitely yeah. I couldn't imagine what was in store for me back then.
Yeah, and so it was your mum worked in casting that had worked with Lucasfilm, and that's sort of what got you the sort of foot in the door to get your part.
No, it's interesting enough. My mom worked in a recruitment company, which was mainly specialized in getting people into white collar jobs. And she worked with another lady in that same recruitment company who left that place and then started her own casting agency, right?
Oh,
Specializing in getting kids into films. So this casting agency, I think it was, I don't mind saying her name, Sally King Casting. That was her name. They did the casting for the Golden Compass film. Um, and so after she left that place of work, her own agency gained quite a lot of success. And then uh, after about a year or so of them not speaking, they were still on good terms. She sends my mum an email asking her if her son would like to be in Star Wars. That message gets relayed onto me, and being a Star Wars fan, it was it was a no brainer, right? It didn't even really need to be asked. You should have could have just told me you're going into Star Wars, and I would have accepted it and fully submitted to her well in that instance. Yeah.
yeah. And what was it like? Because I suppose was that coming towards the tail end of the production? Because it was Shepperton Studios that you filmed in. A lot of the production had already kind of happened out in Australia. So were they filming sort of like additional scenes and pickups then in Shepperton?
I believe so. So what I know about the scenes that are filmed in Shepherd, and I believe there were the additional scenes, perhaps the ones filmed, or perhaps some of the indoor sets primarily were filmed there. Maybe some of the indoor Coruscant scenes were filmed there. That's from what I know. I don't know too much about how it fits in comparison to the rest of the production.
Yeah.
But I know they had the blue screen behind me with the Coruscant skyline, and at least that the Jedi Council chamber was modeled there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And what was it like sort of walking in to that set? You know, you're kind of, as you say, there's blue screen. So it's probably like, you know, as a child, they're kind of like, use your imagination to pretend that there's like speeders and stuff flying by. But what was I suppose you've got the built up kind of Jedi Council chamber room, and then you guys are all in your Jedi costumes, like you and all the other kids, and
Yeah.
then Hayden Christensen walking in. What did that kind of feel like at the time?
So it's very intense when we were brought into the room. Obviously, the blue screen was on the left hand side with the chairs, and you've got the decal of the flooring, the wooden paneling of the flooring. That was real, the chairs and the floor. But obviously, the blue screen had that superimposed, and then you had the crew on the other side with all the lights, the camera. You got George Lucas directing everything. Um, yeah, we weren't told that we weren't given like a fully in-depth brief. Like, okay, you're now in the Coruscant Jedi Council chamber on the 54th floor of the Jedi Temple. What we were told is that we're hiding in one of the main Jedi rooms, and that the bad guys are coming to invade the Jedi Temple, right? And so you should be a bit scared. Bad guys are coming, but you're lucky because Anakin's going to come in and save the day. So don't be too scared. Be scared, but don't be too scared. Anakin's coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suppose for that moment, because you know you're kind of being told Anakin's coming to save the day, and for you it's kind of like, yeah, okay, we believe Anakin's coming to save the day, but then I suppose you see the film and you're like, oh, he didn't save the day. He very much was
Yeah.
not saving the day.
Yeah. Yeah, they really did set us up in a good way. I think that made our reactions a little bit more authentic. I was nervous before even filming, um, but looking at the film afterwards, shortly after it was released in the premiere, I was kind of thinking, hang on a bit, it's kind of weird. Anakin's now a bad guy. He turns to Darth Vader. What happened to me? What happened to my character? So I did ask my parents, like, what happened there? What went on there? And I think they sensed a little bit of a concern about whether my character died or not, and they said, "Ross, you survived. Don't worry." Whether that was the right thing to do, or whether they should have gave me the bit of truth right then and there, I don't know. Well,
Yeah. And do you think you know, obviously at that time, so your parents kind of say, no, no, you made it out the Jedi Temple, you survived Order 66. And then, as I say, I was reading that it was kind of in school, you know, you're kind of being, you know, your friends think it's cool you're in Star Wars, you're also being teased about it being Star Wars, but ultimately that's where they kind of go, no, you got minced by Anakin.
Yeah,
You know, that's kind
yeah.
of what you get told in
It's
school.
that reality just smacks you in the
Yeah,
face. Yeah.
nothing, nobody humbles you quicker than your own friends, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Yeah.
So how does it feel then to kind of have that notion that like, right, well, that's my character is kind of written out, but also your character's pivotal in turning Anakin Skywalker to Vader. That's kind of his ultimate act, and not only does he wipe out all the Jedi, but he's wiping out younglings, and that's the thing that really kind of makes Obi-Wan Kenobi be like, Anakin has turned. He has killed young.
Yeah.
That's what the first thing he kind of tells Padme is he's killed younglings, and it's your character. You know, it's that kind of moment of your character being the one to kind of come up to Anakin. You know, you could have kept turned him to the light, turned him back to the light with what you say, but it doesn't. He chooses to go with the dark side in that moment. How does it kind of feel to know that your character's kind of got that weight in the turning of Vader?
Oh, I'm very grateful about it because it's the reason why I'm on this podcast now speaking to you guys is the fact that it's almost the point of no return. I won't say the point of no return because obviously he does redeem himself and comes back to light at the end. But I mean, it's pretty hard to go past murdering a bunch of younglings. You know, it's quite an irredeemable act. Like I feel grateful about it. When I was younger though, it was quite a lot to wrestle with. I don't think when you're 6 years old, you really think about your mortality that much. Maybe you start to be a little bit more aware that you're not like immortal, but you're not quite old enough to experience maybe deaths within the family or of pets and stuff like that. So it was quite. I think it matured me just a tiny, tiny bit, knowing that yeah, it is a possibility I can die in the Star Wars world and
Yeah.
maybe even this world as well. Yeah.
Yeah, in the real world, you're just like, please don't let anybody big and spooky walk into your room.
Yeah. Yeah. I was on guard for that for sure. Yeah.
And coming off Attack or Revenge of the Sith, does the acting spark not sort of ignite within you, or was it sort of just like I had my fun and now I'm gonna go do my own thing?
It was I had a really good time filming Star Wars and a couple of the productions I've been in before, but that Star Wars was the last thing I filmed. I remember talking with my parents about it, kind of because I had a really good experience with Star Wars. Hey, mum, dad, what about these roles? Huh? Trying to get me into something else, and they're like, Ross, you gotta go to acting school and pursue this seriously. I mean, with the competition you're with, this is almost like a full-time job for them. They're in theatrical productions, they're in pantomimes. If you want these roles, you really should be doing this. And I think I heard the word pantomime, and then my brain immediately switched off. What they were saying was correct, so I don't really blame them for saying that. But no, I mean, I don't think that the spark has ever truly died. I'm open to things like that. When I go to convention shows and stuff, people recommend that I sign up to like casting collective and things like that, and just see where it leads. What's the worst that can happen? Not to expect absolute magic, but it certainly won't be counted against me that I have this like small resume of being in Star Wars and stuff like that. So no, yeah, maybe there's some like mixed emotions about that. But I think what my parents said and did was probably the right thing. People kill to be in these films. I was very lucky and very fortunate that the right things happened at the right time when it came to the people my mum knew. But yeah, to actually really progress, that is probably the right route to take. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And what if Lucasfilm was to call and say, your parents were right, Source made it out, Anakin gave him, maybe took a hand
Yeah.
off, but well, as we know, you can survive getting a hand cut off or being stabbed now in Star Wars. You've got the second sister in the Kenobi series was a victim of Order 66 in the Jedi Temple, but she survived and became an
Yeah.
Inquisitor. So what if Source did somehow, just play dead
Yeah.
and Vader walked on and he
Somehow
was
Saul's returned, right?
yeah, somehow
Yeah.
Source has returned.
Yeah.
If you get that call from Disney, from Lucasfilm to say we want Source to kind of come back in some shape or form, would you be on it?
Yeah. Absolutely, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
What
quit my job right now.
you just
Yeah.
be like, yep, I'm away to film Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it would be amazing opportunity. Like, yeah, it's just it's something different from I guess the. I mean, I've been I've had like jobs obviously outside of a very small part of my life, which was it being in roles and stuff. But it, it's very hard to compare those two. I think, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And what
those
would
two worlds.
you,
Yeah,
if they were to sort of say, you can do Sors is you are Sors. What would you like to see for that character? What would you like to do within Star Wars? So how do you see Sors' story playing out? You've got those that became Inquisitors. You've got Kanan Jarrus, who kind of becomes a bit of a smuggler, and and then a rebel. What would you like to see for your character?
I'd like to see an escape story where I get off of like Coruscant, being my main character's backstory, and then me wanting to get revenge on Darth Vader and the people who killed my classmates,
Yeah.
and then having almost like a double agent storyline where I might work for the Inquisitors, and then I still hold on to as much of the light side as I can. And then having that main struggle between having parts of the dark side, be working with parts of the dark side when I'm working as an Inquisitor in this agent capacity versus uh, just trying to keep the light side being a Jedi. I think that is something I've thought about, or maybe just being a bartender in another far-reaching part of the galaxy who might move a little drink to someone using the power of the Force, trying
Yeah.
to keep
And
it
then they're
away.
like, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, they look
yeah,
over, just be like, how'd that drink get here? You
yeah,
don't need to know.
yeah.
But what if we offered you the role of a biker gang member in the Book of Boba Fett? Would you?
Yeah, you know what? I would need to buy a giant vape cartridge, and I
Yeah,
think as long as I get that, I'll be in for the role. Yeah, dye my hair the craziest color and start vaping a lot more.
Yeah.
Then I'll be ready. I think. Yeah,
I can see like the vapes in a galaxy far, far away being very elaborate, very,
Mm,
Oh yeah.
lots of lights and buttons and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and all kinds of things. I mean, we're almost getting there in this world.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's becoming scary in this world. So in a galaxy far, far away, yeah, the possibilities for vaping technology is endless. If
Yeah,
you're
that's it.
if you're
People are like,
that
is
kind of
that a
person,
lightsaber you're pulling out? No, it's just my vape.
yeah, it can double as that if you want. It can be a
Yeah.
weapon and a
Oh,
device. Yeah,
lightsaber one hand, vape the other. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, there we go. I think that's Swords' new lightsaber sorted.
yeah.
And I suppose just talking on Book of Boba Fett and all the other stuff that's kind of come out since Revenge of the Sith, have you been a fan of it all since then? You were a fan when you were wee, then you got to play, you actually got to be in Star
Mm.
Wars. Have you then continued on with the sequel trilogy and all the TV shows and The Mandalorian and Grogu that's just out?
I haven't seen The Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm actually seeing that tomorrow. No spoilers, please. But I try and take everything which Disney produces as it comes. I haven't been a fan of everything they produce, no. But I think uh, the fact that they are producing stuff which does sometimes hit is a good thing, and I'd rather have that than not have any Star Wars related media being produced at all. So that's my current thoughts of it. I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. It's not kind of I'm not kind of on either side of it because I know a lot of people kind of lambasting Disney for completely killing the franchise. I do not believe that is the case at all. But I don't think I'll be basically a mindless consumer and say yes to everything they produce too. Right? You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand. What about what has been your hits then? What has been the kind of stuff that's come out that you have been like, that's great?
I liked Rogue One.
Hmm.
I liked season one and season two of The Mandalorian. I haven't seen the third one. I am a little bit of a sucker for relying on the opinions of others for reviews. So that is a character flaw which I have, which I shouldn't rely on as much. But that's the reason why I haven't watched the third season. Um, so yeah, The Mandalorian, Rogue One. I've seen the first few episodes of more Shadow Lord. That's been really good.
Hmm.
What else has Disney produced that I liked? I liked The Force Awakens. I thought that was a really good opening to the sequels. Not a huge fan of a couple of films after that. Yeah, those are what I've been liking so far from Disney. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about then, I suppose, going forward with Disney and what they're sort of obviously we've got Starfighter coming out next year, which is going to be exciting because it's going to be something completely new and fresh beyond the sequels. But what would you sort of like to see from Disney? I suppose those are the things you like, but what would you like to see? Is there any sort of part of Star Wars that you maybe felt hasn't been delved into or that you would like to partake of?
I'd like them to explore more parts of the old Republic. I've heard like great things about it. I need to start delving more into the lore and some of the works of fiction around Star Wars which have been written. But I'd like to see more exploration of that personally. Yeah,
Yeah, sort of building out from the likes of
yeah,
the Acolyte and bringing in that High Republic stuff and all. Yeah, yeah. No,
yeah.
I agree. I would like to also see that. I would like to see more of the High Republic stuff sort of being made into TV or film, especially if they kind of keep going with the film side of things. I think a High Republic
Mm.
film would be fantastic because the books and the comics are great source material to draw from.
Yeah, I think I liked the first season of Andor as well. I thought that was a little bit different. It's a little bit grittier
Oh yeah.
and darker and more adult. And I think, yeah, it just shows that Star Wars can appeal to like everyone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Have you watched season 2 yet?
I haven't, I
Oh
haven't.
man, get on
So,
that. Yeah, you think season 1's good? Oh,
yeah,
you're for a treat with season 2. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Obviously growing up with Star Wars and then the world sort of evolving through the internet, was it strange seeing your scene sort of being circulated as a meme? It sort of came through meme culture.
Yeah, it was. I didn't know what to think of it. I liked it. It was like my role, my character getting attention. But when something becomes a meme, it takes on a life of its own. You can't control anything. It becomes like this, almost like this undead entity living in the internet with its own what's it own motives and things like that. But no, the memes have been great. In most aspects, the prequel memes on Reddit, they've supported me when I've had my charity fights and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, they're the reason why I'm again sitting with you guys today. Another one of them is it just elevates the importance of the scene when it gets recirculated. And I think why is that recirculated so much? I think because maybe when I was 6 years old, that little face like pleading with Anakin and being all confused about what we're going to do, is kind of the encompassing like innocence being killed essentially, right? And
Yeah.
you can extrapolate that idea to many circumstances happening now in many different contexts, right? Of innocence being just wiped out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned there about your fighting. Do you ever find do you get much of a crossover with those who, go and watch you fight and see you fight, and also then Star Wars fans? Do those worlds ever seem to kind of collide? Do you ever get like someone you're fighting that's like, hey, like you're in Star Wars, or are those two very separate things?
No, there is crossover for sure. I think a lot of what brings people to Star Wars is that you are kind of it does showcase that element of a warrior spirit. If people like Jedi's because they're the archetype of the warrior monk, and so you're combining aspects of spirituality with combat and martial arts. So there is definitely a crossover between the two, especially those who are more martial artists, I'd say, than fighters. But yeah, there is 100% a crossover. There's this guy fighting this weekend, Matty the Jedi Floyd. He's a boxer, huge fan of the Star Wars series, and he's fighting on the Misfits card this Saturday on he's the co-main event of Eddie Hall versus Tommy Fury. It's the world's strongest man versus the brother of Tyson Fury in a boxing match. And so that's an example right there, right? There is a huge amount of crossover between the two. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were speaking with the nerdcore rapper MC Chris, and I kind of asked him a similar question where it's like, why do you think that so many like rappers and hip hop stars sing about Star Wars? And he was like, because they're all nerds. He's like, deep down, like all hip hop guys, all rappers are nerds and creative, and it's sort of, I suppose, as you say, with like fighters and martial artists, they all are, you know, in some way are influenced by, as you say, Jedi Knights and Kung Fu movies and everything that influenced George Lucas to do Star Wars, like samurais and Kung Fu and all that stuff's in there. Do you ever think, I suppose, from your fighting background, do you ever think that you would maybe look at doing something like stunt work for the likes? Because that's, you see a lot of the
Yeah,
stunt workers on the Star Wars productions are coming from
yeah.
fighting backgrounds, like Lateef Crowder.
I love to do some stunt work. It will give me somewhat of an edge when it comes to that. I've had a couple charity fights. I like my boxing. So yeah, I think it would definitely help, and I would like to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's the combination of those different worlds, right? George Lucas was cooking something up special when he was coming up with all these ideas when it comes to the dark side and the light side.
Just talking about George, what was he like for you? I suppose you were very young, so I suppose it's sort of one of those things. Probably was just another. I suppose, did you know who George was in relation to what he had created before, or was he just another dude in the room as a kid?
I knew he was the guy behind Star Wars as a kid, so I knew he was an important guy when it came to the production.
Mhm.
On the day, he was very kind of mild mannered, calm, collected, but very precise with what he wanted. You can tell that he had a very specific vision of how the scene was going to play out, and he was just very calm in making that happen. He's he seemed like an all right guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's because when you read about how he directs people, a lot of it is him just going being like, "Yep, that's great," or being like, "Do it again, but faster." You know, he's sort of very minimal sort of direction.
You've got him down to a T, man.
Yeah, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
But what was he like? I suppose, what was he like directing? Just because you and there's like other kids there, and then just I suppose Hayden Christensen's the only other actor that's like an adult on that scene. So what was it? What was he like? You know, did George kind of do much with you, or was like an AD kind of came in and was directing you guys, or what was the sort of what was it like filming your scene?
Yeah, so in the beginning, the casting director did most of the work, setting up what people's positions were going to be, where they're going to be sat, briefing us about, Anakin coming to save the day. I was given a green lightsaber to start with, which I believe they were going to light, but then they changed it to just the handle. So I believe that decision was made on the fly
Mhm.
by the casting director to have them be not lit, just to have the handle there to make us seem more vulnerable. That's what I believe was the reason why they made that decision. Now, George Lucas, he just was very short and sharp with the words he used. He was like you said, cut, Ross, look at Anakin. Don't look at his lightsaber when he pulls it out. Look at him until the final scene happened. Yeah, so he's just very efficient with how he conducted himself. But yeah, quite just very calm. Not as I was quite intimidated having seeing him on the other side of the room. I didn't talk to him that much at all,
Yeah.
but he was just very very calm.
Yeah, and what I read was you were kind of given that direction, you know, as you say, focus on Hayden, focus on Anakin, and whenever he ignites the lightsaber, you take that step back. What I read was that Hayden Christian said "boo" to you to try and like startle you. Is that true?
Yeah, so he from my recollection, he screamed.
Yeah,
So he just goes, and that causes me to flinch. Yeah, so that's from what I recollect from it. Yeah, well, there's been some say that he said boo and something like that, but think Hayden was interviewed himself about this very scene, and that's I initially from my memory thought he said boo at first, and then when I saw that interview, I kind of made me think back and think, hang on, yeah, I think it was just a short, sharp scream, which caused me to naturally flinch. But no, good direction on Hayden's part for that.
yeah, good, a good scene partner. And what I liked was on your Instagram, you've met up again at a con, and he'd written like a nice message on your autograph, being like, "You
Yeah.
survived," and I was like, ah, "That's so nice," you know. Was he is he a nice dude, not only to
Oh,
work with, but just a nice dude in general? He always
yeah,
seems to when you see
absolutely.
him in interviews. He seems a lovely guy.
Yeah, he made a big effort to try and kind of calm my nerves before filming, asking me if I had any questions for him, and just talking to me on a level, right? That really helped me not be as scared or flustered when I was filming my scenes. And from what I've heard, yeah, he's very down to earth. There's not really a pretense about him. Not big headed at all. Just a genuine guy.
Yeah, yeah. And who
Yeah.
else did you meet on the set? Did you get to meet any of the other actors? And
Yeah, me and my mum, we met Ewan McGregor. That was a highlight for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
we talked to him, and same situation with Hayden, right? He's someone who give you his time, ask him anything, just like a regular guy who happens to be, yeah, a famous actor, right?
yeah, yeah. What'd you
I
ask
thought
him?
I asked Hayden what's more dangerous, an adult's lightsaber or a kid's lightsaber, and he said an adult's lightsaber. And I forgot what I asked you, McGregor. Yeah, it's what did I ask him? I can't remember what I asked him, man.
Yeah.
But no, that was the highlight. And I saw the back of a old black guy's head on the day. When I was young, I assumed that was Samuel L. Jackson, but it could have been anyone. There's a chance it would have been, but I don't know. You
Yeah.
can't predict these things, you know. I hope it was.
Yeah. Imagine, yeah, just walking by and being like, "There's Sam Jackson,"
Yeah,
but
the back
maybe
of his head,
not. Yeah.
yeah.
You're not long back from Galaxy Palooza, that the
Great show.
Star Wars Session Boys put on. How is it sort of doing the con circuit and sort of getting that love back from the fans?
It's amazing. Yeah, I'm blessed to do them, right? They treat me well every time. There's not really one which sticks out of my mind as being a bad experience. And they did really well yesterday. It's their first ever convention, I believe, from the organisers set up. They don't really have them in Essex, which is where the era of Galaxy Palooza was set up at, and it did really well. It was a really good turnout, and it's good to have people show love and sign autographs for people. It's nice, and I'm blessed to do it. It's helped me travel the world basically, just for having a part in a 12-second scene. Like, it's quite humbling to realize that such a small but important part can help you do quite cool things in life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're for Ireland next weekend for Galway Comic Con.
That's right. I'm very very much excited.
Yeah.
Very much excited.
Have you been to Ireland before?
One time before, years and years ago. It might have been when I was about 12 years old, 11 years old, year six in primary school. So my last year at primary school, me and my family, we did a house swap on this website called Homelink, right? You could swap houses. Someone lives in your house, you live in their house, saves on accommodation costs. And we stayed in County Sligo.
Oh, okay.
So I believe that's on the border between Southern and Northern Ireland. I believe, from what I
I think
recollect,
it's
that being
down the
Sligo.
bottom.
Yeah, it's down towards.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah,
Yeah, it's more definitely more south.
more south. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. We're in the smack bang in the middle of nowhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's unreal. Like, there's so many. Again, where you go in Galway is stunning. Like, Galway is
Mhm.
class. I was there a few years back for a mate stag do, and was just like fantastic part of our. To be fair, it's fantastic all over. But yeah, you're in for a treat when you go to Galway. Like, it's
Mhm.
very good part of Ireland to be at.
Good. What do you guys say? Good crack.
Yeah, it's
Right.
good, Craig.
Right.
Good. Yeah.
And
Okay. Shit.
Dave that runs Minicon is just such a great guy.
Yeah,
Um,
really nice dude.
and I think you're in for a good time in Galway, definitely with the fans, because we were down in Newry,
Mhm.
the last Minicon that was on, and the atmosphere, like, you go to Comic Cons all the time, and it's a lot of, it could be busy and it could be overwhelming and stuff. Whereas Minicon, it's like people that really want to be there because you don't
Yeah.
get that many Comic Cons and the guests coming over to Ireland that much.
Yeah. Right answer. People are gonna be really looking forward to go. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's stacked. It's stacked. I know on the plane right there, I'm gonna be sat opposite person who played Veruca Salt in Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory. So that's gonna be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild just seeing like all the guests that Dave somehow managed to like get together.
Yeah.
Which is
It's a
why
lot.
yeah, and we were just like whenever he announced that you were coming over, we were like, oh, well, we've got to get Ross on because obviously Star Wars podcast, but it's nice that we have that connection, being like, oh, well, you're coming over to our little island, you know?
Mm. Yeah, Ireland's beautiful, man. It was one of my favorite holidays I've been to. Remember going to one of the where the big hills are and just hearing this like whistling sound. I don't know what that was, but
That was
yeah, really,
a
really special
banshee.
place.
It was a
Maybe.
oh,
I
not
mean,
much.
you guys got some deep folklore,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Like
Oh
fairies
yeah.
and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You know, the fairy rings and the leprechauns and banshees and everything else. Yeah, like Ireland is rich with myth. In fact, actually, if you're looking for other Star Wars content to watch, season two of Star Wars Visions has
Mm.
a it's the anthology animated show, and one of the shorts is from the Ireland animation studio Cartoon Saloon, but it's a Banshee story, but it's a Sith Banshee basically in this animated short, and it's so good.
No, I've got to look that up. Star Wars Visions season two.
Star Wars Vision season two, and it's the episode by the episode by Cartoon Saloon is an Irish myth, but with Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I find folklore interesting, and there are like parallels between different cultures all across the world, thousands of miles away, and they have
Mhm.
similar stories about goings on in the unseen, right? So it
Yeah,
makes life a little bit more interesting, whether you believe it or not, right?
Yeah.
exactly. Well, that's it. That's what makes the likes of Star Wars so great because it draws on so much of that. It's why like Sinners recently is so good because it draws on so many different vampire myths and stuff. It's good storytelling. You know.
Doing convention, Ross, has there been anybody that you've met that is sort of like, I can't believe, like you're talking about Fergus Salt. You would never think, oh, I'm sitting beside Fergus Salt for an hour and a half. Has there been anybody you've ever met that sort of left you starstruck?
Anybody left me starstruck? Yes, it was actually at the first convention I ever went to. I just finished playing the game Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Um,
Mhm.
and I love that game. And I did this convention at my old college. I used to go to a smaller college when I was in year 11 and 12. Right, or no, years 10 and 10, 11. Yeah. But anyway, I was sat next to the guy who voiced Geralt of Rivia, the main character in it, Doug Cockle. And at first, when I looked to my left, I thought, "Oh, that's awesome, right? The guy that did the sound design for the game or the CGI for the game is it?" Then I looked at the writing, Doug Cockle voicing Geralt of Rivia, and I had to jump out of my seat. I'm sat next to the guy who voiced the main character of this game, which I've just completed and loved.
Mhm.
But I'd say Starstruck. That was the main one. Obviously, meeting Hayden in 2019 and London Film and Comic Con. That was another moment. Reconnecting with him, that was so special.
Mhm.
But no, those are the two ones which stand out to me. Yeah, the voice of Geralt of Rivia,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Witcher games. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about who would you like to meet if you're called for another con, say like a bigger one, the big ones in the UK, or maybe you're called for one of the ones over in America? Who would you like to meet?
Samuel Jackson would be pretty cool.
Hmm.
Samuel Jackson. Who else? Who else? Trying to think. Trying to think. Ewan McGregor again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to think more about it, but definitely those two will be in my top five for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, big contenders. What about have you tried reaching out to ask about Star Wars Celebration next year?
I have. I reached out to ask about Star Wars Celebration in Japan. I don't think I did it quite in time before they had everyone booked, but that's something I do need to do, and I do wish to do. I'd love to go to a Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone you know who might be able to put a few things.
Hook you up. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. We are also work trying to be like, is that feasible for us right now? Could we go to Star Wars Celebration next year? Hopefully it'll be because it tends to have been like American show, then a Europe show, then America. So we're hoping, it'll maybe be like Germany or somewhere
Yeah,
maybe next. So yeah, if somewhere like Germany, well, 100%. Like Adam and I are jumping on the
yeah.
first plane there,
Yeah, I'd love to go. I'd love to go, man. Honestly, I think it is heavily dependent on the theme of the guests. I know each year they try to keep it either to like maybe the originals or like the sequels. If there's a heavily focused prequel one, no, I think that would be the right opportunity for me. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
yeah,
Like I said, next year will be very much New Hope 50th anniversary, like going hard on that. But we'll be getting eventually in the next couple of years, we'll be getting to the 30th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, so that'll be the
yeah.
perfect time.
That'd be great, man. I'll grow this beard out. I mean, I wasn't. People would barely recognize me anywhere from my scene, but people get shocked when they see me now, my younger self. Yeah, they say it makes them feel old, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're like who that little faced kid and is now a grown ass man. That's
yeah,
how time works, I guess.
yeah. It makes me feel old when people say that. Like,
And do you think you would, if you get called, so 30th anniversary Revenge of the Sith, they're like, we're putting on a convention celebrating that anniversary, but we want you to come in full Jedi garb. Do you have a Jedi outfit? Have you ever pursued getting a Jedi outfit just even for the cons and stuff?
I haven't got a Jedi outfit. What I do have is a very comfortable linen like dressing gown, which could double
Mm.
up as one. But I need to get an official one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you do. I have a Jedi. I do a Jedi costume with a costume group, and like, it's good fun. It's good fun, just
Yeah.
walking about being Jedi. I was the day after Mandalorian and Grogu came out, we were doing like a Star Wars event in one of the shopping centers locally, and like, there's nothing like people kind of coming up to you and they get your picture and you let them hold the lightsaber and like,
Yeah.
they get to hold the lightsaber and then you go, "May the Force be with you," and they're just like. There's something about it,
Yeah.
even though it's like Jedi's aren't real, but when a Jedi says "May the Force be with you" to them, like it just lights up their day,
Especially, yeah. You're
Yeah,
channeling the concept of a Jedi.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And
Um,
that there's something really nice about that. And I would say for you, someone who has actually been a Jedi in Star Wars, it would be even more like, whoa.
yeah, why not? As long as it doesn't affect my mobility or ability to duel people at conventions, I'm game on.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I like coming. You can set up these cool like interactions with fans where you can duel them for a chance to win like a little lightsaber giveaway or something. I can duel other guests. I got my ass kicked last time when I went to Rebel ScumCon.
Yeah.
This guy called Colin, yeah, he was. You can tell he did. He got his practice in for sure. Yeah, yeah,
Think if you were to cosplay as your own character, but growing up, there's been a lot of Order 66 survival stories. Grogu is an Order 66 survivor. Um, if you turn up at Celebration in front of Dave Filoni swinging a lightsaber, he'd be like, "Whoa, we need to bring this character back." I think that's the key.
Yeah.
you've got to plant seeds in
Yes.
people's minds, and I think that will very be that'll be a good way to do that for sure, right? Amongst other things like get your name out there and stuff like that. But anything can really happen, right? There's crazy things have happened in life, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not come
Gotta go
dressed as a
for it.
Jedi in front of Dave Filoni? Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. That's your next step. As soon as we finish this call, go get yourself a decent Jedi costume, and then you'll manifest
yeah.
it. It'll manifest.
Manifest
Mm.
it.
Yeah,
Manifest it. Yeah.
exactly,
Bringing
exactly.
making the subconscious conscious. Yeah.
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 Um,
Why not?
you mentioned at the start of the call that you and your mates were in the playground playing Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and maybe occasionally Harry Potter if you found a good wand like stick. But what franchise would you like to go into? If obviously, yes, if Star Wars calls, you're gonna go do that. But say somebody else, the producer is watching Revenge of the Sith, and they're like, that kid had good acting chops. I wonder what he's up to these days. And they're like, we think he'd be great in X. What other franchise would you like to play in?
Well, Lord of the Rings for one. That'll be great. Another franchise, man. I could tell I'd like to be in like a detective genre thing. I think that'd be very interesting. But another franchise, man. I have to think about it. Think about it more. Yeah, definitely Lord of the Rings. Another Star Wars one if it comes out with that.
Mhm.
The Star Wars series. Yeah, I'd have to honestly. I
I have
should
to
think
ponder
about
that
this
one.
more. I'd have to think about this more, man.
Yeah. What sort of detective are you talking, like Sherlock Holmes style detective, like an older style detective, or like a more modern sort of trying to think what modern detective
Like
stories
there's
there are?
one in the UK. There's one in England called Luther. So
Mm.
Yeah,
I'd like
yeah,
to play the part of like a bad guy, like a complete degenerate in that. That
yeah,
that'll be fun. Like to
yeah,
bring out my inner crackhead. Yeah.
yeah. Listen here, casting directors. We found somebody who wants to be a villain.
Yeah. You could go full. Actually, it probably wouldn't be the best thing to go full method with that. Nah. Yeah. Could lead down a pretty dark road, to be fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. But you can say, we'll pitch it here. He's been in Star Wars. He wants to play a villain in a detective story, and he can do his own stunts. There we go.
What more can you want? What could
Yeah.
you want? Yeah, exactly.
Something tells me, Ross, that you wouldn't be a bad Bond.
Mm.
Yeah, that'll blow my head. That's blown my head up to enormous proportions now. So you know what? I'll take that and I'll write with it and see where it gets me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. Being either B Bond or just a villain, but imagine even just being a
Double
Bond
O
villain.
sixty six.
Yeah,
Oh.
But thank you very much for your time today, Ross. You've been a complete pleasure, and we'd love to see you back in the Star Wars universe or something else.
Yeah.
Or something else. I mean, you make you bond on me. Don't blow my head up too much, man. I got to keep humble somehow.
You know what? Now you've got to
I
go buy.
appreciate that. Yeah.
You got to buy a Jedi outfit, and you got to buy yourself a nice like Bond tux or a nice Bond suit, and
Yeah.
then, as we say, manifest it,
Manifest
make
it.
it a reality.
Yeah. Wear the suit under the Jedi robe.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Just be ready for a quick change. And sure,
Hey.
it's all filmed in it's all same studios. Star Wars and Bond was always filmed in the same studios, so you could
Okay. Just do a quick turnaround.
yeah, just I'm in this studio at 5 and that studio at 7.
Yeah, there's definitely some crossover there. I think an espionage storyline in Star Wars would be pretty cool. If there hasn't already been one already, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, Andor's is probably as close as they've got.
Closest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But kind of doing some
Jedi
spy
spy.
work. Jedi spy, pretending to be an Inquisitor. Yeah.
There we go.
Dealing
That's
with
it.
the dark side when you're pretending. Like,
Dave Filoni, creative director. Are you listening?
yeah.
Hello, you saying change an outfit really quick just put my head to Mrs. Doubtfire. It's not. my head went somewhere else. But thank you very much, Ross, for your time. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you, Danny, as always, for being a wonderful co-host.
Of course.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Join us next week for more fun and shenanigans in the stars. And as always, we have friends everywhere. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.